If you plan on recording and making music on your computer, you want to make sure that the signal going in is optimal. If it's too low, it could sound muddy, and if it's too high, you could start clipping, and that sounds terrible. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your audio interface for recording in Tracktion Waveform Free and Pro on a Windows 10 computer. I'm Zane. Welcome to Audio Tech TV, where it's my goal to help you conquer the tech so you can unleash your creativity by providing easy to follow audio tech tips, tutorials, and reviews. Now, the audio interface I'm using for this video is the Focusrite 2i2, but the basics are going to be the same for pretty much every audio interface out there. If you want more information on the Focusrite 2i2, I've included a link down in the description, but right now, let's jump in. Before you get started in Waveform, you want to make sure that you download the latest driver for your audio interface. Typically, you can just go to the manufacturer's website and find it on there. The default drivers that install when you just plug your audio interface into your computer really aren't ideal for recording. So even if you think you have your audio interface running, head to the manufacturer's website and grab the latest driver, then install it. And once you have that driver installed and your interface is connected to your computer, open up Waveform. And now you want to go up to Settings, Audio Devices. Now in audio device type, you want to change that to ASIO if it's something else. And this type of driver gives you the lowest latency on Windows computers. Now I know some budget audio interfaces don't have an ASIO driver. So if you're stuck with using the default driver that installed automatically when you plugged your audio interface in, you can grab a free program called ASIO for All. And that's sort of like a virtual ASIO driver, and it will give you a bit better latency. So if you are using ASIO for All, in this step here where you choose your device, you would choose ASIO for All in your device here. I'm going to choose Focusrite. And then you can click on this control panel right here, and that's going to bring up the control panel for your ASIO driver. And you can change the sample rate, the buffer size, and some may have some other things that you can change in there as well. Now, the important thing with the buffer size is the lower the number, the lower the latency. The higher the number, the higher the latency. But you can't just set it at the lowest setting and expect great results right away. It all depends on your computer, your audio interface, and things like that. So you can try it out on the lowest setting. If it works, great. Continue to use it. If it doesn't work, you can go back into this control panel and change it maybe to the next one up and see how that works. For sample rate, you probably won't need to worry about this right away. If yours is set to 44,100, that is decent. That's CD quality, and it's probably what you're going to be exporting your audio as anyway, so you might want to leave it there. I have mine set for 48,000 because I use a lot of my audio in video, and my video settings are for 48,000. And now something to note about the buffer size again is as your project gets bigger and you start adding more and more plugins into your project, you may need to increase that buffer size as you might start getting some dropouts and weird things happening with the playback. So if that starts happening to you as you're working on your project, go back in here to the control panel and you can change that buffer size. Typically, you want to get all of your recording out of the way first, and then those issues might come in the mixing stage, so it doesn't really matter as much when you're in the mixing stage. The latency really matters when you're in the recording stage. So once you've jumped back and forth between the project and the ASIO control panel, and you've set the perfect buffer length, you can now look at recording. And if your buffer length ends up being too big in the end and the latency is a little too much, most audio interfaces have this direct monitor button or switch on it that allows you to hear the signal as it goes directly into your audio interface. So there's going to be no latency. And I've had to record using that feature for years when I had a budget-priced audio interface and a lower spec computer. It works quite well, but you won't be able to hear any effects that you might have on the track in the software, so you're just hearing the direct signal input. So for this example where I'm going to be recording here, I'm going to record my guitar into Waveform. I have my guitar connected directly into my audio interface, and I have it switched to instrument. Your interface may have a switch like this one, or it may have a separate input for instrument. Make sure you're using the instrument input or switch or whatever it is on your audio interface when you're recording a guitar. Before we even get into the software, let's kind of look at our levels on our audio interface just to make sure they're ideal there before they get into the software. And most audio interfaces will have some form of metering on them. Even low budget interfaces have LED lights letting you know that your signal's okay. And typically it's green. When your signal's in the green, that means you're okay. If it's in the red, that means you're clipping and you want to turn your gain back. So just strum your guitar or sing, whatever it is you do and you're recording in, do that at the same level that you're going to be recording. You might even want to go a little louder just to give yourself a little bit of headroom. All right, so I think I have my levels set up pretty good. And you want to make sure that you're controlling those levels on the interface itself, not in the software, or else you're going to have a clipping signal in the hardware that's going into your software, and it might just sound quieter if you were to use the volume control in your software. So let me just select the proper input. I have my guitar plugged into input 2, and you'll see when I strum, there it is. And now because we're going to be recording, I'm going to arm it for recording by clicking here. And if I click on this section here, you see how there's red around this shape here? I can look down here and make sure this live input monitoring is checked. That way I can hear whatever it is I'm recording in. Now, if you're having too much latency and you don't want to hear what you're recording in, you're just listening to the direct monitor, you can turn that off if you want. I'm going to have it on for now. So I'm just going to record the dry guitar. I'm not going to put any effects on it or anything. Again, I just want to check our levels before we start recording. So I'm going to click on the level meter here. All right, the levels look decent in the software. If they didn't, again, you want to adjust it on your interface, not with the volume in the software. That's for later on when you're mixing, not for setting your initial levels for recording. And now I'm ready to record. So what I might want to do before I hit record, I might want to just turn on this little click track here. That way it gives me a click track to play along to. So I'm going to turn off loop recording and I'm going to hit the main record button in the software. All right, so that was nothing really recorded there. My latency is a little high. It usually is when I'm doing these videos. So I don't even know if I was in time with that click, but I just wanted to show the recording process right there. And one thing you might have noticed is when I hit record, there was a little bit of a count in until it started recording here, which is where I guess I had it set to start recording. And that's because if you go to click track down here, and I have the pre-record count in length set at 2 bars. So it counts in for 2 bars and then it starts recording. And once it's set like that, it's set like that for all of your projects. So you don't have to reset it every time you start a new project. If you want even more Tracktion Waveform tutorials, click up here or click down here to see what YouTube recommends. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. For Audio Tech TV, I'm Zane. Keep creating and we'll talk soon.